What do we have here? We might have picked up 3 more mopeds. The seller had each of these up. I think it was like 200 or 300, 150 and 150, and I asked him if he would do a little package deal, and he said come get them all for 200. He also gave me an extra seat, which was very kind of him. So let's pull these off and start looking at them. We do, however, need to make room. I'm thinking that all the mopeds got to go into the back room. I got a little room back there. Pull these other ones off the back of the truck. Okay, here they are. We got the Moped with the non-variating motor on it. And it also has this cool pipe. I forgot what it's called, a chestnut or... forgot what it's called, but that thing is pretty cool. Gas tank does not open, but this one is separate from the frame, which is always good. Little peacock on there. This one actually has a tag on it, and it's a 1978 Moped. So we got a 1978 Moped, a 1976 Columbia. It's the same year as the Dem Smiley. This one was last registered in actually 09. Look at the coil on that thing. I'm not sure what year this Sachs is. I don't see a tag anywhere. No tag on this one, but it was last registered in 1993. All in all, these are some pretty cool bikes. This one actually has a little toolkit on the front. Spark plug caps. So I don't know which one I'm gonna bust into first, but I do know that winter's coming, so we gotta get these in there. We got them all in here. I don't know which one I'm gonna start working on first. These ones feel like the brakes are working. Brakes are working there. Starter cable on that is pretty stretched out. There's wires hanging off of these things everywhere. I'm thinking the most likely to get running today is probably this yellow one. Let's see if the starter cable works. Oh, it does. Alright, so it looks like the first one we're going to work on is the 1976 Columbia. Just looking it over, you have a starter cable right here that is not doing well, but that pulls on here to engage the starter gear. So when you pull that and pedal, it'll spin the motor over. This is the carburetor right here. Has a gas line that goes up to the petcock to the fuel tank, which is part of the frame. This is the air box. It doesn't have a filter or anything on the back of it. This right here is a choke cable, manual choke. If you look under here, the exhaust, it looks like it had a clamp that's rusted off pretty much completely. So we're gonna have to get a little creative to attach this exhaust. Chain has seen better days, but it'll work for now. I'm gonna grease that up. Coming to the other side of the bike, this is where the flywheel would be, and I believe this has points. It does spin freely. The pedals kind of hit the pipe on the other side, and they hit this case right here too, which is not ideal. So we're gonna have to play around with that, but it looks like this case is pushed out a little bit. Whole bunch of wiring. Who knows what any of this does? Stuff goes somewhere. Lights turn on. Horns make noise. There's the coil, which there's no cracking. Looks like it's pretty bolted to the frame, making a good ground. The tires actually seem to be holding air, which is surprising. Seat is almost perfect. I don't know if it's original. It does have a taillight. We'll have to figure out if that works. While we're here, if we open up the gas tank, that's what the cap looks like. It looks pretty good in there, actually. There's a couple little spots of rust. It does smell kind of like fresh gas, actually. I don't think it was too long ago that gas was put in here. So first thing we're gonna do, let's pull this plug, get some oil down there, because this thing has been sitting since at least '09. And then we'll pull off that line to that petcock, see if that's working, see if any gas comes out of there. Give a tug. Oh, the whole fuel line just fell right off. There is some gas in there, and it does look to be mixed. Maybe a little heavy. I'm wondering if the guy that had this put some gas in it just to try to get it started real quick. Okay, now that we know she turns over and there's some oil down there lubricating that, let's try checking for spark. Who thinks she's gonna have spark? Let's see if she does. Can't see if there's spark there. Maybe you saw it? Yeah, that looks like no spark to me. First thing we can do is check the wire on the plug. Yeah, so that thing has a full rod that gets pushed in there. You know what we can do? Check spark with this. I'll hold it. Ah! Yeah, she's making spark. That's for sure. I ain't been shocked like that in a minute. What I imagine happened was this just got pulled out a little bit from the boot. I'm gonna try a different plug. Yeah, so I'm thinking that boot is definitely bad. While we're here, we're gonna take a look under this cover. At the flywheel. Okay, so I don't have the best camera. I know this. I definitely need an upgrade. But if you look in here, the flywheel magnets are working. You can feel them being magnetized. The condenser is right there. If you keep spinning around, the points are right here. I doubt you can see that, but those points are very dirty. I do definitely think that that boot is bad, but also these points need to be cleaned. Get a little file in there. Okay, those points are nice and clean. We just stuck our boot back in there as far as it could go. Let's just see if cleaning those points at all made a difference. Oh. We definitely just saw some spark. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, even spinning the flywheel over by hand. I don't know if you can see that. But we're definitely getting spark, so this thing will probably fire up. I haven't looked anything up about this machine. As long as the compression's over 100, it should run. Like I've said in the past, this is a cheap Chinese compression tester. It's showing about 80. We can try it again because I didn't really get that good of a push on it. And I think I might have broke the throttle cable trying to go wide open. Alright, so yeah, we're sitting at 75. Hopefully this tester's just testing low. Alright, we're going to do a quick little test where we hit this thing with some starter fluid before pulling that carb off, just to see if there's enough compression, because it feels like I'm going to have to do a top end on this. Alrighty, let's see what she does. Alright, well, it's definitely got enough compression to start. That was cool. Alright, let's pull that carb off and start breaking into that. So it looks like the carb is just attached by one little bolt right here. Oh yeah, she's wiggling. Look at that. To talk about the easiest carb ever to take off. Okay, there's our carburetor. This thing is so incredibly small, it looks so funny. It's a Bing carburetor. I've not opened one of these up before. 2 bolts holding the bowl on. She broke free. Oh boy. Wow. That that does not look good. The needle's working, but there is stuff all over this. Definitely don't want to break that. Pin coming out. Float coming out. I guess this needle just sits in there. Needle looks nice and pointy. The C is a little bit gummed up. I mean, this whole carb is just like gross. I don't even know what it is. It's like sand. This thing has one jet, and yeah, that one jet is just packed tight. I'm gonna have to grab a guitar string or something to slide through there. But all in all, the carb actually isn't terrible. I mean, it's super simple. A little primer button. It is kind of cool that it has a fuel filter inside of the bowl. I'm gonna do my best not to wreck that at all. So this doesn't have an air screw at all. It just has an idle adjust for the slide. We're just gonna leave that as is. Let's blow through this thing, clean it up, and get it back on the bike, see if she fires up. That's a pretty interesting carb float. I don't know what it's made out of. It's got to be some sort of plastic. It almost feels like wood. I think it might be a wooden float. I don't know. That's just what it feels like anyway. Alright, well that was a relatively easy carb to go through. Let's reinstall it on the bike. Okay, the carb is fully installed. Next, we need to get a gas line on there. Alright, nice tight fuel line. And I think we're ready for the first start. We have spark. We have some compression, at least enough to fire. And now we should be getting fuel through this carburetor. I don't know where any of my gas tanks are, so I mixed up some whole milk here. But let's add this and see if she starts up. We'll be pulling in the choke. Oh, she almost went. Try with no choke. It's pretty cold out. I'm gonna choke her. I think she likes it. I'm realizing that I don't have a kill switch. We gotta get that exhaust hooked up. There is a couple wires coming up. I believe one of these is for the kill switch. I don't know which one, but we're just gonna try grounding it out while it's running to figure out how to kill this thing. So I imagine this is a little check bolt to see if your oil level is on. Well, there's a little bit in there, but that definitely needs to be filled up. Okay, so I got the exhaust. I mean, it's not mounted, but it's sitting there, and I do see a little bit of leaking coming from the top of the carb, which I don't know if it's overflowing out of somewhere or if this line is leaking, but that line seems pretty tight, so I don't think it's that. But we'll have to look into that. But let's just see if she starts right back up. And we're going to try to figure out the kill switch situation. Okay, put green to ground on the handlebars, and that's how we ground it out. headlights work. Alright, we can also see if these tires hold air. I wonder if we can start this one inside. Wire. That's how you kill it. That's your little kill switch. Yeah, this thing is awesome, man. The stand bent, so this thing's been kind of really hard to kick over. I tied it up with a chain. If you can see, it goes all the way up to a beam up there, and it's a little bit easier to kick over, but this thing keeps flooding out. The plug keeps getting really wet. So I stole a plug off of one of those other mopeds that I got. And this one is a B8HS. The one that I stole is a B7HS. So I'm hoping that the hotter plug will complete combustion for this thing. I'm sure this'll probably send her. Well, she's idling pretty good. We might actually be able to take her for a ride. I'd say that this one is fixed. She's running. I gotta put that cover back on. Smack that back on. We have to bend this back because that thing is bent real bad. This thing could definitely use some new tires. These tires are pretty rough, but all this thing really needed was a little bit of tender love. All we really had to do to this thing was clean the points, clean the carb, put a new plug in it. I did end up replacing the boot. The one that was on there was super loose, so I put a screw-on boot on there. And it needed a carb clean, but the carb is still leaking. We're gonna have to take that apart and figure out why. But she's running. I did not expect to be able to ride this thing so soon. So a couple other things we got to do on this is we got to tighten up the seat here. We're gonna order a new plug for it, and I should replace this. it could use the exhaust mount. You can't really see, but the exhaust is very poorly mounted on there. The other thing I noticed is there's a lot of play with this sprocket. I don't know if there's supposed to be a washer behind that, but that moves a lot. So she starts right up. She idles really nice. She does not have a kill switch. That's another thing. So I'm debating on stealing some parts off of the black one that I got here. This one's definitely in rougher shape. You can see there was an aftermarket coil put on here. All the wires are just dangling out of the stator. None of the lights are hooked up. The whole motor is not mounted all the way. It looks like they must have had this motor completely out, which kind of worries me that they just stuck it back in and sold it. The throttle cable is not hooked up on this. Brake is missing from this side. This brake is not hooked up. It's just got a wire dangling. The starter cable is just wrapped up down here. This one does have the kill switch. It has the proper headlight switch. There's no play in the I mean, there's a tiny bit, but there can be a tiny bit, but there's way too much play in the sprocket on that yellow one. This one is missing the air filter. So yeah, it's missing that boot on top of the carb. The motor does turn if I spin the back wheel, but the other thing this one has is the exhaust mount. So I could steal the exhaust off of this. I could steal that little sprocket. I could maybe steal this carburetor if this one doesn't leak. And I could also steal the kill switch off of it. So what we're gonna do is try to get this thing running. And if we can't, then we're just gonna use it for parts for the yellow one. Okay, so winter is here. I mean, I guess I could open the barn door. Winter's here. We got some snow, and I was working on this moped trying to get spark on her and get her going, but something came up on Facebook Marketplace, which you know I can't avoid.